Johara, welcome back to my channel, and that is glaring. Hold on, let me find a better viewing. Okay, that's better. Hey, it's Johara, welcome back to my channel. So, I'm gonna do the Halloweentown Book Tag. Yay, it's still pretty new. I don't know how many people have done it yet. I think at least a few have done it besides the creators, which are Peyton Reads and Brittany and Books. So go, I can't speak. So go, I can't speak. So go subscribe. Apparently I can't speak. So go subscribe to them if you have not already. So yeah, they're the creators, and when I heard that they were thinking about making this tag, I got all excited. I haven't done it yet. I want to do it like right after they did it, but I just watched their videos today because I've been busy and tired from work, and then I was sick for a couple of days, so I just haven't gotten it to it yet. But yay, I was actually tagged by Brittany and Books. No, I was tagged by Peyton Reads, and I got all excited because I've never actually been tagged for one of these videos, probably because I'm still pretty new at BookTube. But I just started this year. But I got all excited, and I was like, yay! One of my favorite booktubers tagged me. But yeah, so let's get started, shall we? Okay, what's the first question? I have it all on my phone, like I usually do. Yeah, and then my phone goes lopsided. Okay, number 1 is Halloweentown. Name a fictional place you wish were real. So this was a difficult question because I'm like, there are so many places that I wish were real. Like, seriously. And I almost went with Hogwarts, but then I think I used Harry Potter for a different answer. So I was like, okay, I'm going to try and find a different one. And then I came up with their world. I don't really know what their world is called. Like, I think it's supposed to be different than our world, but not that different because they're still normies, which are humans, but they call us normies. Like, yeah, so it's like similar to a world, but not. And there are monsters in this world, and there's Monster High, the school for monsters. Obviously, that's why it's called Monster High. You might have seen some Monster High movies. I'm in love with the movies and this series, along with the other Monster High series, which I'm currently rereading. But yeah, I would love to have gone to Monster High for high school. Maybe I would. I've dreaded high school so much. Like, seriously, if I went to Monster High or Hogwarts, something like that, I'd be like all happy. And I love monsters, so I would love to be surrounded by monsters. I was a monster. Let's be real. I would want to be a witch, but I don't know if they have witches, because I don't think witches are really a monster. I mean, they have magical powers, but I don't know. But if not witch, then vampire is my second option. Like Dracula, my favorite character. So yeah. Question 2. Marty, name a book about witches. So, witches are my favorite magical being, so it surprised me that I don't have as much witches books as I wish I did. I mean, I think I might have a few, but the thing is, in my witches books, they don't call themselves witches, but I consider anyone with magical powers a witch. Whether they are called witches in the series or not, I consider you a witch. If you have magical powers, you're a witch. I don't care what you say. So I went with the effigies trilogy. With these 4 girls, all have a these 4 girls all each control an element. It follows the main character Maya, who is the newest fire effigy. So they're actually called effigies, but they have magic power, so they're technically a witch by my standards. But whenever one effigy dies, a new one is like their powers and their like spirit goes into the next effigy, and Maya was chosen. So yeah, it kind of follows her journey and this new war that is coming, and she has to learn how to control her powers, how to look back into the past to figure out what happened to the last effigy, how she actually died. And there's a little bit of romance with her and Aiden. They're one of my favorite fictional couples, let's be real. and you know, and one of the purest of book characters is in this book as well, Lake, aka Victoria. She goes by Lake. I don't remember why, but she does. But she is so pure and so kind, and I wish it got into her character a little bit more than it did. But yeah, so, but I'm a huge Maya fan too. So yeah, you should definitely give this trilogy a look if you have not. It's called the Effigies trilogy. First book is called Faded Flames. Second, Siege of Shadows. Third, Legacy of Light. So yeah, you should definitely give them a read. Okay, what's the next question? It's not technically a question, but well. Number 3, Sophie, name your favorite middle grade book. So this is technically a middle grade book. I never really thought of it as one, but technically it is, and it's one of my favorite series. It's my second all-time favorite series. Warriors. This is one of these super editions, not part of the actual series. I mean, super editions are kind of part, like super editions are like in between these series, I guess. But these series are underneath the super editions, and since I just moved into a bookshelf right now, they're all kind of stacked, and I really don't want to have to dig through to get part of the actual series. So I grabbed one of the first super editions I saw. So yeah, this is my second all-time favorite book by my all-time favorite author, Aaron Hunter. You should definitely give this a read. But I think technically is a middle grade book, but I don't care. I love it. I actually got into this book a little bit later than I wish I had. I got into it when I think I was 16 or 17 because one of my closest friends, Maddie, she's not a huge reader, but she absolutely loved these books, and I already was in love with my all-time favorite series ever, which is also by this author. So she's like, hey, why not give this a chance? So yeah, but it's basically about these 4 clans. I can't remember what they're called now, what the clan names are. But yeah, Sky Clan is actually the 5th clan that they discovered. Long story. I haven't actually finished this series, sadly, but I want to. It's like on the very, very tippy top of my TBR list, and I'm going to do it soon. So yeah, but there's like 6 books in one arc, 6 in another, and so on like that. I think there's like 6 arcs, but they all follow different characters, all from the same clan. But like the first 6 follows Firestar with, well, his name was Fireheart, and then Fireheart's love interest, Sandstorm, who is one of my favorite characters. Well, my favorite character from the first arc, and his best friend, Greystripe. Second arc follows Leafpool, which is my favorite character from the second arc. Her sister, Squirrelfly, her love interest, Crowfeather, and her sister's love interest, Brambleclaw. So yeah, and it goes on like that. I don't know who the 3rd arc follows yet. I'll get to it eventually. So yeah. But it's definitely worth a read, and you guys should definitely check it out. This is a super edition, so it's bigger and thicker than the normal books of the actual series. But yeah. They also have manga and novellas. I haven't read those yet. What's next? Dylan, name a book with a magical school. So, I mean, this is like such a generic answer. Like, most people are going to pick this. But, oh well. I am picking Harry Potter. Like, who wouldn't want to go to Hogwarts? I mean, like, I think every Harry Potter fan is gonna be like, I want to go to Hogwarts, but I don't want to go to Hogwarts because it's like it would be so cool to be invited to Hogwarts, to get a Hogwarts letter, to actually go into the school and learn charms and transfiguration and all the other awesome classes. But then at the same time, so many people have died there because it's so technically unsafe. It is so unsafe. How do people still go there? Like, how is the school not shut down by now? Right? But I don't really need to explain Harry Potter because, like, everyone, if you haven't read it or watched it, you at least know the name. That's how popular it is. Like, seriously. So I don't even think I need a description of what it's about. But long story short, Harry Potter, Chosen One, has to be Voldemort. Yeah, so, shortest description for a book ever. What's next? Grandma Aggie. Everyone loves Aggie. Name a book that helps you escape into a brand new world. So this could be just about every book I read, but some of them are kind of like in our world. So I went with, because I almost said Secret's my all-time favorite book ever. But then I was like, but no, because technically it's not like it's a whole new world. It's still our world. So I went with Bewitched and Oz. An awesome duology. I so think you guys should check it out. First book is called Bewitched and Oz. Obviously, second book is called Magic Below. It follows Ziri Green Apple, and it's also obviously taking place in Oz, which I think is so cool. My favorite fairy tale like land would be Wonderland, but I think Oz would be a good close second. Maybe not that close, but still second, because I think it would be so cool. But she has magic, and so does her two best friends, Tabitha and crap. What's her other? Oh, it's like on the tip of my tongue. It's like starts with a V. Crap. I forgot her other best friend's name. It's funny because Tabitha's not even in as much as the other girl. What's her name? Like, can I find out? Because that's going to annoy me. Crap. And it's like on the tip of my tongue. Once I figure it out, I'm gonna hate myself. Like, seriously. Okay, here's Ziri and Tabitha talking, but no, not the other girl. What the heck? Bashti, that's the name. Bashti. Ziri's crush's little brother Brink. And then Tabitha gets, and they have to sneak off to use their magic because it's against the law. Magic's like illegal in this land. And so when Tabitha gets caught and taken away by flying monkeys, they have to go to Princess Ozma and try to get these save Tabitha and reverse the law so that they can freely use their magic, because Ziri is very proud of who she is and loves that, you know, her magic, you know, and believes is a part of her, part of all of them, and she thinks if she loses it, then she loses part of herself, if that makes any sense. But yeah, and I'm also a huge fan of Ziri and Brink. And Brink is another character that's just too good for this world, for any world. He's such a sweet cinnamon roll, and he deserves to be protected. And yeah, I would love him as best friend. And if I was straight, you know, he would definitely be a crush. So, huge Brink fan. You know, he deserves a lot better than he gets in these books. Let's be real. But yeah, great duology. I'm planning on rereading it soon, hopefully. Definitely deserves a read. You guys should. It's such underrated. I swear, most of the books I read, except for maybe Harry Potter, is like so underrated, and it makes me so mad. Especially my all-time favorite book, which we'll get to eventually. Next question. What's my next question? Because I don't know. Calabar. Name your favorite villain. Okay, that's easy. I'm going back to. I lost the book. Oh, there it is. Harry Potter, because my favorite villain is Bellatrix Lestrange. Like, she's my favorite villain of all time. She's just amazing, and she's crazy, and she's insane, and she doesn't know what the crap she's doing, and she's just completely awesome. And we love her, and we stand her, and I just love her so much. She's an awesome villain, and I'm so glad Harry Potter had given us Bellatrix Lestrange, because Bellatrix is amazing. I like the actress. I like her as the Red Queen on the Alice in Wonderland live-action movies, and she was on that new Netflix movie Enola Holmes, which I thought was really great. What else was she on? I think those are the only things I watched with her. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I've seen her on other stuff, but I'm not sure. Okay, man, I'm hot. Okay, let's see. What's next? Benny. We all love Benny. Name a book that is always there to get you out of a hard time. Now it's on to my favorite series of all time, because I love to take any moment I can in any day, in any video, to recommend this series to get everyone to read it, because I read a lot of underrated series, but this is the most underrated thing of all time, and it's an underrated gem. It's just amazing. That's how I explain it. Underrated gem. That's literally what I use every time I'm trying to recommend it. I'm like, it's such an underrated gem. Please read. I want the entire world to know how amazing this is, and I never hear anyone talk about it, because I think the world has forgotten that these books even exist. Because when people talk about Aaron Hunter's books, they talk about warriors. They never talk about seekers. Ugh. Seekers, and my favorite character is Kalik, one of my favorite all-time fictional characters. I'm obsessed with Kalik. Kalik is everything. Kalik is life, and Seekers is life, and Udrak, and Lusa, and Toklo, and they're all life. And I love this book. It's a book about, these 4 bears go on a journey, okay? They all start out separate, okay? Kalik was actually the last one to join the group, and honestly, she's probably been through the most. Toklo and her has been through the most, but I think she's been through a little bit more, probably because she was the last to join the group, so she was alone a lot longer. And but Toklo met Udrak pretty early, and then they meet Luce at the end of this book. They don't meet Kalik until the second book, either the middle of the book or the end, somewhere around, or in between, somewhere around that. But it's a book about them trying to discover who they are and where they belong in this world. And the main thing about this friendship, about this book, is friendship, because these bears would do anything for each other. They have all almost died for one another, and they would do anything to help one another. And it's just a beautiful story. There are 6 books and 2 mangas. No, not 6 books, 12 books. And 12 books and 2 mangas. They almost made a 3rd manga. And I think they should have, made a 4th one too. They made one about Kalik and one about Toklo, and they almost made one about Lusa, and they should have made one about Udrak too, because Udrak's amazing and he does not get the hype he deserves. Like, seriously. He's probably my 2nd favorite character after Kalik. But yeah, this deserves a read. It's called Seekers. The first 6 is called Seekers. The second 6 is called Seekers Return to the Wild. And everyone should read it and see how amazing these stories are, because I'm so tired of no one knowing what it is, and that's part of the reason why I take every moment I can to recommend it. That every time I even mention Seekers, I get into this entire rant about how amazing it is and how I want everyone in the entire world to read this series, because it's amazing and it's beautiful, and it's the authors. Aaron Hunter is a group of authors, a pen name for a group of authors, but they are so descriptive, and the writing is beautiful, and they created a few words. Like, bears, they don't know human language, so instead of calling us humans, they call us flat faces, because we have flat faces compared to them, except for our little bump on our nose. But to them, we have flat faces. And then roads, they call black paths, because they wouldn't know to call them roads. So it's just so amazing how unique it is, and how amazing, and it's so sad that it doesn't get the love it deserves. And I will stinking recommend it until my voice goes away, not even until those limits. Like, literally, I will die with these books, and I will die recommending them to literally everyone. Like, so go, if you haven't read this already, then what are you doing? Go read it. Like, seriously. Okay, what's next? Wow, that became a really long rant, but I'm not even that surprised, let's be real. Okay. Luke, name a character with a hard exterior, but it's actually soft inside. Yay, I get to talk about him, because we all love him. Crap, I need to put up my clothes, because I'm lazy. Ugh. Okay, this is the 3rd book in the series, but I don't care. It's a trilogy. It's called the Skin Jacket Trilogy. I love it. It's one of my favorites. I think it's in my top 5. Yeah, I think it's number 5 in my top 5. But yeah, it's amazing trilogy. First one's called Everlost, second Everwild, third Everfound, and it follows Allie and Nick. They're at the this is not a spoiler because it happens literally at the very first chapter. But Allie's in one car, Nick's in another, and then they crash and die. So they wake up in Everlost, which is a land in between life and death. It's where you go if you don't quite reach the light where you're supposed to go. But this is a spoiler, technically. Wait, is it a spoiler? Because, yeah, or no, it's not. It kind of is, but Mikey is amazing. Okay, this is the spoiler part. He was called McGill until you find out his actual name is Mikey towards the end of the first book. And he is just amazing. And he is, at first when you meet him, you're going to hate him. You're going to despise him. But then him and Allie get close, and she hates him at first, and he hates her. But then they fall in love. But then she betrays him. because she refused to believe she was falling for someone that's such a monster, kind of like Beauty and the Beast kind of thing, and but he's just horrible. But then, even after she technically betrays him, he still saves her life, and then they go on this, and then they go on a journey, and then he does, and then their story is just beautiful throughout, and the ending, how they end is just so sad, but it's so beautiful, and this is an amazing story. It has the worst character of all time, though. Mary Hightower, cannot stand her. I want to strangle her. When I was reading this, I swear I was going on rants every 5 minutes about how much I hate her, and I was like seriously trying not to just throw my book in every room, and I failed a couple times, because I did end up throwing my book a couple times, because I hate her so much. She's worse than Umbridge. That's how bad she is. So beware of how bad that character is, because I cannot stand her. But yeah, but Mikey's awesome. He's so tough and stuff, but deep down he's actually really sweet if you get to know him. And for the longest time, Allie was really the only one that really saw that side. And then in the last book, I think Nick saw that side. But yeah, I love Mikey, and he's amazing. So I'm glad he redeemed himself at the end. Okay, what's next? Cal, name your favorite guilty pleasure book. So I'm pretty sure I said this before. If not on this channel, then on my other channel, where I talk about movies and TV shows. It's called Harry Potter Girl. So if you want to check that out, then please do. But I don't have a guilty pleasure. Anything, book, movie, TV show, song, singer, actor, actress. What else? I can't think of anything else. But I don't have a guilty pleasure of anything, because I believe if you like something, you should like it. And so what if other people make fun of you for it, you know? I mean, I'm a huge fan of Monster High, and I don't care if it's for kids. I'm a huge fan, and I just created a Monster High tag. I'm still working on it a little bit, but I want to do that eventually. It's an original tag, and I'm like really excited for it, because Monster High is amazing, and I love it. And I love Barbie movies, at least the older ones. Barbie movies are amazing. But I don't care what you think of a book that I like. I will scream it from the rooftops if I like it. Like, seriously, I'll be like, I love this book. Who cares if you don't? So I don't have a guilty pleasure book, because there's no book I feel guilty for liking or hating or anything. I love these books that I have, obviously. I hate Twilight. Like, seriously, I don't care. But that's just my opinion, so I don't have an answer for that one. And there was my small little rant. Number 10 is gourds. Name a book that you forget to talk about. So this is, I was going to say Stormmakers, but I think I do talk about that a little bit. I think the book that I do forget to talk about, I think there's 2 series I forget to talk about the most. I'm going to go with one. I know which one. I think this is the book I actually forget to talk about, which is sad, because I love these books. I'm actually planning on rereading them soon. I told you about that book club my mom and I are starting. On the first of every month, we're going to do like the whole book thing, where we talk about the book we just read, and then say what book we're going to start out with. I'm going to film them and put them on my channel, on this channel. And yeah, so my mom isn't a huge reader. But she's hoping this will get her into reading a little bit, and so, since she doesn't own that many books, she chose one of mine, Isle of the Lost. If you're a fan of Disney and love the Disney Descendants, then this is about Descendants. The first book, Isle of the Lost, is based before the first movie. Second book, Return to the Isle of Lost, and third book, Rise of the Isle of Lost, are in between movies 1 and 2. And then the fourth book, Escape from the Isle of Lost, is in between movies 2 and 3. So, yeah. I have no idea what happened to the cover of this book, because this book used to have a cover. I have no idea what happened to it, so don't ask me, because I do not have an answer for you. But yeah, it used to be like green with like an apple with a bite out of it, and I have no idea what happened to it. I mean, I've had this book for a really long time. But yeah, so it's an amazing series. I absolutely love it, especially the first one. The first one is my favorite, which is rare, because most of the time, the first one isn't my favorite. except for in this and Story Makers. The first one in Story Makers is actually my favorite too. But this book is my favorite out of the four. It's amazing and I love it. And you really get a sense of the characters before the movie, and you get to see how they became friends. Because Mel and Jay were already friends with, in this book, but Evie and Carlos first meet in this book, and then Jay and Mel become friends with Evie and Carlos because they became fast friends. And then yeah, so it shows all that, and then it also goes back to Ordon every so often to show you Ben's journey trying to prepare to be king and stuff. So yeah, but it's an amazing book. So if you like Descendants from Disney, then you should definitely give these books a check because they definitely deserve more attention, and I want to start talking about them more. But I will be on my book club things every month because we'll probably be reading all the four of these every month for the next 4 months. And then I'm also going to do a review for them each individually. I mean, I've read them before, obviously, but I want to reread them before I do a review on them so I can really have like all the memories of what's going on in the books, you know, fresh in my mind. What's next? I'm tired all of a sudden. Okay, I'm almost done. Number 11, Ethan. Name a character you want to go on a romantic broom ride with. So, man, this is, this question. I mean, there are several characters that I would love to. And I almost went with Khalik, but I was like, okay, she's a fair. But yeah, if she was human, but I decided to go with an actual human. So I decided to go with, I think there are 3 characters that I can think of off the top of my head that I consider the most cinnamon roll of cinnamon rolls, okay? And only one of them is a girl. So I'm going to go with her. And besides, I love her anyways. And I already mentioned her once on this video, which is Lake. Let me get the book. Lake from the Effigies trilogy. See, here's Fate of Flames, Siege of Shadows, and Legacy of Light, which has really pretty covers. My favorite cover, which I talked about recently on my channel, which I've never really been much into covers. I'm putting my books back, hold on. I never really paid too much attention to covers. Like, my main thing was the summary. Did the summary sound good? That's all I care about, okay? But then lately with booktube and all these questions about what's your prettiest cover, what cover do you love, this and that, and I really started looking at the covers of my books, and this is definitely my favorite. It's just so pretty with the colors, and I never really noticed it until I started actually paying attention to my covers. And I still will never buy a book because of the cover, but yeah, this amazing, love it. But anyways, Lake is such a cinnamon roll. She's amazing. She's so kind and genuine, and she has some health issues. Well, what was it? It was explained like in the middle of the book, I think. Was it asthma she had? I don't remember. No, it wasn't asthma. It was anxiety, I think. Anxiety attacks she has, and panic attacks, which I think are the same thing. I'm not 100% sure. But so there's that representation. I wish it did. I guess the only downfall is I think it should have gotten more into Lake's anxiety, because I think it was only mentioned that one time. Then they kind of just forgot it. But if I remember correctly, I'm planning on rereading this series soon too. So yeah. So I wish it touched into that a little bit more, but she doesn't let that put her down. She still fights even if she doesn't want to. I mean, she's only like 16, 17 years old, and she's the air effigy. That's the element she controls, air. And so if you're a fan of Avatar: The Last Airbender, then you know this. I want to do an Avatar: The Last Airbender book recommendation because Clockwork Reader, who you should also follow, did one, and I really want to do one. And this is definitely a book that reminds me of it, mostly because of the war and the elemental magic. But yeah, she is the effigy of air. And she is fighting. She's a 17-year-old girl who was thrown into this, kind of like Maya. I think Cheirin and Belle, the other 2 effigies, Water and Earth, I think they are, I think they're like adults, but I think they're barely adults. I think they're like 18, 19, maybe 20, but no older than that. But Maya mentioned she was 16, and I think Lake mentioned she was 17, maybe 16, but I'm leaning towards 17. But yeah, Lake is just amazing, and I would love to go on a romantic broom ride with her because she is just everything. She always knows how to make you feel better. She always knows the right thing to say, and she's always there to be a shoulder to cry on or a warm hug. I don't care, even if you don't deserve her kindness, warmth, she will give it to you because she believes that everyone deserves it, even if they probably don't. She's just the most amazing person you will ever meet, and I so wish she was real because I would love to meet her. Like, seriously, I'm in love with her. No joke right there. Oh. Lake is life. Okay, number 12, last question. Natalie, name a character who is proud of who they are. So I went with, I think I mentioned this. I lost my book. No, okay, that was the right book. I don't know what I'm doing. My mind's not here. Okay, so Ziri Greenapple. When I first talked about this book in this video, I mentioned she's proud of who she is, about the whole magic thing, because that is true. She's very proud of who she is. Even when, this is a spoiler, so if you don't want to spoil, you might want to move past a little bit. But even at the end of this book, when they thought Tabitha had gotten rid of her powers and was, Ziri thought she was different because she was like, magic is a part of who you are, and I don't want to give it up because it's a part of who I am, and we're not the same without our magic. It's who we are, and we should be proud of it. Well, that's not exactly what she was. Those words, she didn't use those words, but it's like that's what she was trying to say, you know. So yeah, she's very proud of who she is. She loves being a witch, and she thinks it should be legal because she loves it and it's who she is, and she doesn't want to give it up. And it's like she's very proud, and I love that. And she's an amazing protagonist. I love Ziri. I really want to talk about this duology more, and Ziri and Brink, because he's such a cinnamon roll. The other cinnamon roll I don't think I mentioned that much was Nick from the FG's trilogy. I mentioned how him and Allie both died at the beginning. Yeah, he's also a cinnamon roll. But Brink is, and I love him, and I love Ziri and Brink together. And Ziri is just such a strong protagonist. You know, she's gone through it on the journey. She went through a lot, but she still managed to fight back, and she will always fight for her magic and her friends and what she thinks is right. Even if no one else will stand with her, she will always stand. And she's just amazing, and I think I should talk about her more on my channel. And yeah, so there's my little Ziri rant. Got that out of the way. So yeah, that's this tag. It was so much fun to do, and to find the answers, and I'm so glad I finally did it. So please follow Peyton Reads and Brittany Ann Books if you have not yet. Please like and subscribe and comment your answers, or tag me in this video if you decide to do it. I would love to see your answers. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. Hope you have a wonderful day.